Okay, here's my last shout, okay? Gear 4 had clouds because it makes sense. Because he imbues his armament Haki. Your Haki is your spirit. If your spirit and your devil fruit line up, because Zoans have a will of their own, that could be the secret behind creating the clouds. And then what Gear 5 would be is Conqueror's Haki. That's why whenever he transforms into Gear 5, there's gold lightning, red lightning, all the lightnings, because he uses his Conqueror's Haki with his devil fruits. White clouds? Wait, these are white clouds? What the f... The fact that he has white clouds immediately makes me think he's something special. Usually when people have white clouds, they're kind of... In my head, just because every time a good person was an awakened Zoan, they had white clouds, and when they were an enemy, they had black clouds. In my mind, it was almost like a symbol of your heart. But I also see y'all are saying mythical awakened Zoan is a white cloud and a normal awakened Zoan is a black cloud. That would mean the Gorosei don't have mythical Zoans? I thought for sure the Gorosei had mythical Zoans. I thought for sure. I don't agree with you because I thought for sure they would have mythical Zoans. In the Cerberus dog we saw, you don't even know if they have fruit? Why? Because they could be something with Emu? But they wouldn't be able to transform if they were just devils. What color did Kaido have? Kaido wasn't awakened. We know what yokai they are, but it never said the fruit user, which is weird. Luffy has clouds with Gear 4? Kaido had clouds when he was in full dragon. But he can also produce clouds. I'm not sure if that was... You can have clouds without being awakened? Yamato had clouds and their fruit is not awakened, confirmed by Oda. So that would mean... Okay. Hold on. So this would mean that every awakened Zoan does have clouds, but that is not necessarily the only way to have clouds. So the clouds themselves are a very big mystery then, because I always just assumed it was only an awakening thing. But if this is true, then there's something more to clouds, obviously. I'm really thinking on what this means. So like clouds are guaranteed with awakening a Zoan, but sometimes they can appear without even awakening. Maybe all mythical have clouds in base form? If that were true, then Kaido would have had clouds way more and Luffy would have had clouds way before Gear 4. That would be their base form. Let me look up Yamato again. So Yamato confirmed does not have an awakened fruit. You know, interestingly though, the clouds are not random. The clouds are not random. The clouds always go like under their arms and make a big circle. They always go under their arms and make a circle around their head. Why would that possibly be a thing? And if it wasn't only because it's an awakened Zoan, what the fuck? Why then? Because Lucci's never had clouds and all of a sudden he has them. It could be... Okay, here's my leading theory and then I'll move on, okay? Because I just had to... My theory is Zoans have a will of their own, correct? Correct. So... if you line up enough with the will of your Zoan, which would be your Haki, maybe that's the key behind it. And if you're Black Cloud, you are strong, but you're not in the right will. Because that would make a little sense because Luffy What is the big difference with Gear 4? Is that he imbues his Haki with his devil fruit. And then all of a sudden we get a little bit of a misty type cloud. It's not the full billowing thick white cloud, but it's a little bit. You see how it's just a little bit of cloud? That's because Luffy literally is imbuing his spirit or his Haki into his devil fruit, and that produces the cloud. And maybe that's honestly the secret behind awakening as well, is your Haki or your will plus your devil fruit being super in line somehow. That's my only best possible guess. There it is again, why he looks just like a guardian deity. It was a mistake to let a wannabe Odin like you eat it. The Makami is a Wano's guardian deity. The only confirmed Zoan awakenings are Lucci, Kaku, who have black clouds, and Luffy, who has white. So it could just be something more simple, and it could just be that anybody with a guardian type deity devil fruits has more of a white base. But then that wouldn't explain why Yamato has the clouds, even though she's not awakened. Could it just be that mythical Zoans have white clouds? It could also be that. I do like my theory that it's imbuing your Haki with your devil fruit. Because Gear 4 randomly appeared with clouds. Luffy wasn't awakened in Gear 4, that's what I'm trying to say. If you take that form, you get a white cloud. It's a theory, though. I really think that it could be Haki. That could be it. Because what was the big difference between Gear 4 and Gear 5? Or Gear 4, Gear 3? Luffy's Gear 4 transformation in One Piece heavily relies on armament Haki, which is to reinforce his body and enhance his strength. Okay, here's my last shout, okay? Gear 4 had clouds because it makes sense. It makes sense. Gear 4 has clouds because he imbues his armament Haki. Yamato has clouds because Yamato has really strong armament Haki. Your Haki is your spirit. If your spirit and your devil fruit line up, because Zoans have a will of their own, that could be the secret behind creating the clouds. And clouds are just a symbol of being super strong. And then what Gear 5 would be is Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki. That's why whenever he transforms into Gear 5, there's gold lightning, red lightning, all the lightnings, because he uses his Conqueror's Haki with his devil fruits. That's my leading theory now. Can I have your thoughts on whales with clouds? That's how they fly to the fucking laugh tail. They ain't gonna fly with their wings. They fly on clouds to the final island. That would add up because the Gorosei were super resistant to the point. Okay, but listen, Gorosei are completely weird. The Gorosei, we don't even know if they're mythical Zoans, so you can't even talk about those guys. They aren't even confirmed to be mythical Zoans like you guys said. They could be real yokai. They could be real demons. They could be something with Emu. I mean, Emu just can kill Saturn whenever, so we can't compare apples and oranges, devil fruits, and real devils. That would make sense. Chat, that would make sense. That just furthers my theory even more. When your Zoan will and your Haki will align, that unlocks the full potential of your fruit. Devil fruit. If the Gorosei don't have fruits, but they just are devils, then the devil fruit would just be that devil, but your control of that power. I think it's starting to make sense to me. Cooking too much? Do y'all not understand it? Okay, listen what I'm saying. The Gorosei are the real devils, and the devil fruits could be, some of them, that literal devil, but the power turned into a fruit. So when you eat the fruit and you are a Zoan and you literally transform into that devil, but you're still in control. But what about the white clouds? So then there's devils and devil fruits. and then there's good. The devil fruits are made through manifestation, lots of people manifesting, lots of people believing in something. What if lots of people believe in the devil, or lots of people believe in these weird creatures that they would make them real? Or maybe the devil fruits manifestations are just people wishing they had a power like their rulers, like the Gorosei. The Gorosei are real devils. Everybody wished, I wish I could be like them so I could kick their ass. Just like they wished, I wish Nika was alive so we could kick their ass. I'm not sure though. Lots of cooking, lots of cooking. I just think it's so strange he has white clouds. My hunch immediately, before I even know the fucking guy, I want to say he's immediately... We don't have enough information. I just want to say he's not bad. Now, my gut feeling wants to say he's not bad. Look at Summer's tattoo on his left elbow and look at the ship that fell from the Skype at the start of Jaya. That tat does look familiar. He does look familiar. Fuck you. Saint Breeze? Remember when Saturn sees Luffy's transformed into fifth gear, he calls him Nika as if he's not Luffy anymore. And how do they know Zoan types have a will of their own? It's possible they could be immortals with devil fruit power, but honestly, that's too obvious of an answer. I think based on the information they know in their reaction to awakened Luffy, they're actually devils themselves. That would make a lot of sense. Why does the ship have Saint in the name? It's a very valid question.